Alrighty, very good morning ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Quick Cat 2 for your cruise today. We're heading out into beautiful Platypus Bay, which is alongside Fraser Island there. You'll see the magnificent Humpback Whales.
Come just slightly closer. Here.
Go away! We're Brian and Jill Perry from Hervey Bay Whale Watch, an industry we created 27 years ago. This is our floating office, which we built about 5 years ago now. It's on the water, right on the pontoons. We book for all the boats and for Fraser Island, give out information on the area. Because we've been here for so long, we know the best things to do.
Morning.
I was looking for a boat business and there was a boat for sale at Hervey Bay, so it turned out to be a charter fishing boat. We came here, we liked the area, it seemed to be very family friendly. Bought the business, which included a house, and started fishing charters.
We had no idea about whales, didn't even know that they come here. It all happened on the 25th of August. We were out fishing up the top end of Fraser Island. Got a little bit rough, so we come back into sheltered waters. And that's where we saw what we thought first off were logs floating in the water, but they started to move and come towards the boat. And everyone on the boat, we had about 13 passengers, stopped fishing, and if they had a camera, they ran out of film very quickly.
So over dinner that night, Brian said, I want you to go to the paper tomorrow and put an ad in and we'll do a whale watch trip. So they ran a free article that was about this big on about page 5 that said Brian and Jill Perry of the Tasman Venture are thinking of running a whale watch trip next week, and anyone who's interested can phone the office. But I believe they omitted the phone number, they omitted a price, they omitted a time, but the phones just went crazy. So we booked out the boat.
Before the boat left the wharf, we actually told everyone that it was going to be fairly rough out there, and that if they didn't see any whales, we'd give them a free trip to come back. And that guarantee still goes up until today.
Now first up, just introducing ourselves, your crew that will look after you throughout the cruise today. Working the deck downstairs, we have the lovely Sarah. Also coming upstairs very shortly we have Tony, and myself Brent, your skipper here in the wheelhouse. Now if you have any questions, you require absolutely anything at all, or you just feel like a chat, please see any of us on board. We are here to look after you throughout the day, and hope you really enjoy your experience.
Brian had always tried to design a boat, so we thought, okay, we'll try and get someone to build us a boat. So we searched all around Australia and we finally found some builders in Brisbane that would build what Brian had designed. He had sketches all over the place.
Yeah, so the Quick Cat was a really special boat, and still is. It's the only boat in the whole fleet where you can get a wheelchair completely around the main deck.
So it's now become the most awarded vessel in Queensland, and we're very proud that we designed it ourselves.
This is called the wheelhouse, where obviously the master or the skipper operates the vessel. So up here we have the helm and steering instrumentation. We also have an autopilot. So if I'm feeling lazy, I can just put it on autopilot and off we go. And obviously I'm also monitoring all the gauges for the operation of the engines and making sure everything's running fine then, keeping an eye on depths, navigating through different channels around sandbanks, all those sorts of things. Hervey Bay whale watching is still very, very unique. Now they choose to come into this area, spend a couple of days, sometimes a couple of weeks. Now it's the only place on the east coast of Australia that really happens. So they're starting to whale watch in a lot of other areas now. But what the major difference that people don't realise is that out in all those places you're going out into the open ocean, and the whales are actually migrating. They're either heading north up to the Barrier Reef for breeding, or they're heading south back to the Antarctica. Whereas in Hervey Bay they've actually stopped to play, enjoy themselves. So that's why they act very, very differently, especially with their interaction with the boat, basically within touching distance.
They use the area as a bit of R&R, I think, and I always say the whales choose to holiday in Hervey Bay, and so should everybody else. It is a magic part of the world. We get a lot of school groups come out with us as well, and so we give these books to all the children. So it's education material.
Australia was one of the biggest whaling nations in the world. We were pretty barbaric in the early 60s, 70s.
Our daughter is now driving boats up in Airlie Beach. So last time we were up there, we thought we'd take a trip to Daydream Island. We'd heard about their iconic little putt-putt course, which is around Australia in 19 holes. And it was just amazing that not only do they have the Great Barrier Reef, do they have Sydney Harbour, they also have hole 5, which is whale watching in Hervey Bay. So I've even got a shot of the tail, which is where you putt from, and then you've got a shot of the blowhole where Brian and Sarah ended up. Brian and Sarah were playing. I think they got about 6 on that hole. I got it down in 3. But to think that something we created is an icon of Australia on the putt-putt course in Daydream Island was pretty good. The first time I ever saw whales, I think I'll never forget that. And when everyone says to me, oh, I just want to see a breach, I want to see a whale jump out of the water, I always tell them that I love getting blown on by a whale. That's when they're right beside the boat and they expel the air and you get covered in it, and it doesn't sound very good, but I love it. That's when you know that you're just so close to them.
We had a really big female out there, probably 18 metres, 17 to 18 metres. She was laying on her back and she started to wee. And it went about 4 metres in the air. And it's
very
quite incredible.
yellow.
Yeah, you didn't want to get covered in that.
But it's so good to see the mums now. They actually put the calves on their nose and they'll push them towards the boats. And as a mum myself, I can think all they're doing is saying, hey, look at my baby, isn't it gorgeous? And we say they're our whales because they're born in Queensland. This is where they give birth, this is where they breed, so yeah, they're our whales.
Just getting out there and seeing the whales in their own environment doing what they want to do is probably the best experience.